Welcome back. As I promised you that we do have an exclusive interview with Engineer John Tanui, the PS ICT and Digital Economy. Thank you so much, Engineer, for joining us.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's a pleasure to be here today.
I want us to talk about the digital agenda. Earlier on, I think it was in May, the President did talk about digital jobs and that the government is looking to ensure that in the next 5 years we will have at least 1 million digital jobs. How far have we gone with that plan?
Cynthia, the global economy is changing quite fast. There is a rise of what we call the digital economy.
Yes.
And the digital economy is growing probably 2.5 times faster than the physical economy. Mm-hmm. Some countries have managed to take their digital economy to even 40% yes. of the economy. Yes. Kenya's is about 7%, world average is about 15%. So when you look at this, we have huge potential as a country to enable our people access global opportunities from wherever they are, because the digital jobs provides a leverage of connecting the demand and supply of jobs and workers globally using digital infrastructure. Mm-hmm. So one of the first things we are doing as a country is to open access, internet connectivity across the country, so that we can allow more of our people to access the global opportunities. We've started working with our govt institutions, setting up devices, digital hubs with devices, and also providing connectivity. We have done now in over 174 digital hubs across the country. We've seen almost 152,000 jobs created. We've done trainings closing now towards 500,000, and we see this as a huge opportunity. There are many other things being done by the private sector. We've seen the rise of the business process outsourcing. We've seen successful cases of some top local BPOs having 2,000 workers, others now approaching 8,000 workers. Yeah. And this is the space that we are seeing a huge potential and a rise of younger BPOs taking 100 people, 200 people, and we just need to work on the numbers. We've also seen the establishment of what we call software development centers by top technology companies, and we can see some within a short time they are crossing 500 for top technology software development companies having over 500 workers. Others, just one Amazon Web Services launched late last year. Within 9 months, now they are crossing over 150, and these are top level jobs. So this space has huge potential, but requires quite a lot of work to be done.
Yes, and part of the work is also, sometimes we really hear people talking about just the laws, and of course our laws, some of our laws were not really prepared for what was going to happen in the IT sector. Is the government looking to at least implement new laws and policies to facilitate this growth?
Yes, the rise of digital jobs is not only unique to Kenya, it's
yes.
a global phenomenon. So not only Kenya is facing challenges aligning its historical labor laws to the current and the future of work, and in Kenya we are working together with the other relevant ministries and agencies, Ministry of Industry and also Ministry of Labor, to look at aligning the laws to the future of work. We are also building collaborations with the private sector and global bodies. This week I had a meeting with ILO, so that we look at how to expand these jobs and also make sure the jobs are decent and sustainable for our people.
And what does this mean for the BPO sector?
The BPO sector, we've proven case. The feedback we get from the BPOs who have set up in Kenya yes. is that quality of talent is excellent. And the BPOs are various global companies, and they are able to tell us their clients are very happy with the talent. And when you look at the other global, other countries, globally, Philippines, India, they've done very well, but it took them several years. We believe Kenya stands a very good chance to grow this sector.
Yes.
The few BPOs who have set up in Kenya have engaged us. They have raised a few issues that they want us to address. We are working with them to address some of those issues, how to address issues of connectivity across the country so that they can set up anywhere in the country and be able to have reliable infrastructure. They've also looked at how we can combine some of our initiatives, affordable housing with digital hubs, and to be able to ensure that the large number of people who are in that space are able to access housing in a convenient way so that they can lower the distance of travel. They are also looking at other issues that will make Kenya very attractive globally, because for BPOs, we are not just competing locally or within the African continent.
Yes.
It means taking jobs from Asia to Africa, taking jobs from Europe or US, North America to Kenya.
Yes.
So we are looking at how to make Kenya a very competitive BPO destination.
Yes.
And we are engaging very closely with the players who are already in the country.
Yes, and how do we do that? How do we ensure, because there's a lot of competition globally, how do we ensure that our standards are even better than other nations to be able to attract them?
One of the things which we are working on is ensuring that ICT infrastructure in the country is reliable. And we are very grateful to our public sector and private sector. The country is well connected from the submarine cable to the global connectivity. Now we have closing towards 8 submarine cables connecting to Mombasa. That means we have sufficient capacity and redundancies. During the US visit, one of the outcomes was one of the companies, Google, has set up also an alternative connectivity, connecting from Mombasa through the land all the way to South Africa, providing capacity and redundancy. So this is one of the things that makes the country attractive. Secondly is to give attention to the BPOs which are already in the country. We've seen our leaders from members of parliament visiting some of these BPOs and listening to them. We've seen our leaders, even the president, visiting some of the BPO centers and positioning it correctly. So this, we believe, will give us the global attention to show that we are actually listening to them and working with them to see that we address their concerns and to see that we mainstream, because before BPOs and certain careers had not been clearly defined as careers in the country. And we are working with that. Soon some of the amendments they've suggested will be put forward so that we can make sure BPO is mainstream in this country.
A lot of times when we see foreign investment coming in, a lot of them set up within Nairobi and the environs. How do we then ensure that for many who come, there are incentives perhaps to also want to invest outside Nairobi and go to the different counties in the country?
So Nairobi is quite attractive for many reasons. Infrastructure, the ecosystem, the housing, the lifestyle, it's good. And we are very happy those who have set up in Nairobi. We've seen some moving now to Kiambu, Tatu City. You can see there is an hub tech, and we have a very vibrant BPO there. It was launched very recently and is working on taking about 5,000 new workers. We have listened to them. One of the things they want is connectivity across the country. So this is something we are working on as part of our digital superhighway initiative to ensure every part of our country has connectivity, capacity, and what we call reliability. In case of a cut in one area, the location cannot be cut off. So those are some of the concerns, and they will be even attracted to our other outside Nairobi because of cost. Because live in Nairobi, the cost is higher. So if we can address the issue of connectivity, they will be able to move to those regions. And we are having conversations with them. There was a conference recently held in Nairobi which brought some of the global BPOs in their hands. They're talking about quite a significant number of jobs in their hands if we can facilitate them and avail sufficient locations for them that they can consider.
Yes. Is the youth priority? We've been seeing our young people on the streets, and one of the things that they have really been talking about is also just lack of employment. Is the youth a priority in your program?
Youth is the backbone of the transformation of our country. Mm-hmm. This is the most important segment, and we are blessed to have very intelligent, vibrant youth in this country. They are very engaging. A week ago, we had conversation on X-Space about issues to do with ICT bill that we had, and we received very constructive feedback that will help us to relook at the sector. Yes. Within our Ministry and State Department, and in this all job creation, our focus is the youth. And it's a very exciting sector. If you look at PPOs, this is one of the digital jobs that's available. You can work under a PPO. This is an organized organization bringing thousands of people in one location, like the CCI in Tatu City, with now over 6,000 people. We look at one in Mombasa Road, Summer Source. So these are vibrant, and we need to have tens of these institutions in the country. This is one part. The other part is to look at Kenya, positioning Kenya as a software development destination. We've seen companies like Microsoft set up a software development center in Kenya. We've seen Amazon Web Services set up a development center in Kenya. This is another area that we need to work with them to see that we can attract global players in software development to locate their facilities and centers in Kenya. This will also unlock huge quality jobs in this space. This week we will be visiting Amazon Web Services Development Center to see what they have achieved in the last 9 months since they launched here. And it's quite exciting to see their progress. We are also looking at other sectors which has potential to create jobs, like cybersecurity. Yes. We are very happy to see Cisco set up a center within University of Nairobi, because within cybersecurity, there are open jobs. When you check, there are almost 3.5 million jobs open globally, and a good percentage of this can be done remotely. So we are looking at how to establish programs, enable our youth to be able to access these programs so that they can go out there and be able to access these jobs. We are discussing with also other technology partners like LinkedIn. How do we use their platforms for learning? How do we use their platform for linkage to global opportunities? We are also looking at other players globally who can come to this country and do the same in cybersecurity, in the areas of software development, in also another area called IT support. We've been in discussions with some companies from Germany who are looking at locating some special PPOs targeting at IT support. This is IT engineers who will have a support in some of the top engineering and technology companies, and they can operate from here. There is also another very interesting area that we are looking at. End of 2022 and early 2023, we started looking at how to address our digital superhighway at the last point. That means access. The individuals have broadband in terms of mobile broadband available, but they did not have the devices. Yes. And we are very happy to see Safaricom and others establishing the East African Device Assembly Kenya factory to work on production of devices. Yes. I was also able to visit about a week ago M-Copper, who have already manufactured over 1 million phones here in Kenya. This is a new emerging area. The electronic industry will open huge opportunities. So within that, about a year, we have over 1.5 million devices manufactured. And as a country, we have almost 65 million phones. It is possible that Kenyan demand can be every year over 10 million. Yes. So we think electronic industry is going to be an interesting space. There is a new space also called semiconductor industry. Yes. It is a high skill area, very challenging, But we are very happy to see Kenyans. We have individuals, experts in Tet and Kimathi University who have set up. We have a company called Semiconductor Technologies Limited.
Yes.
And they have started working on developing semiconductors. This is the basics of the electronics industry.
Yes.
And it is the highest value in the ecosystem in terms of job creation and also in terms of creation of wealth and value to the country.
Yes.
During the US visit, Kenya was able to be designated a technology partner to US. This will give Kenya opportunity to grow that sector.
Yes.
If you check countries like Malaysia and look at their exports and check what is the highest exports from that country, 23% of their exports is semiconductor industry.
Yes.
So if you combine semiconductor industry and electronic industry, this is an area we are working closely now with our Ministry of Industry, Ministry of ICT, and all the other sectors and the private sector to see how do we incentivize this sector,
Yes.
so that it can create high quality jobs, and it's closely linked to the software industry. So if you combine those two,
Yes.
in the future,
Yes.
our young people will get huge opportunities there.
Yes, and would you say that when it comes to the digital master plan that you are doing quite well and following up on the digital master plan, because one of the key issues about the digital master plan is to ensure that there is employment and economic growth, even as we come to the end of the interview?
We are happy that as a sector, we develop what we call the digital master plan, which will guide Kenya's development in the ICT sector. It was developed by public sector and private sector.
Yes.
And we define all the key areas. Some of the things we identified was skilling, digital skills. And this is an area we are working with private sector. We appreciate the support we've gotten from MasterCard Foundation.
Yes, Ajira, with the Ajira
they supported
program.
Ajira program.
Yes.
We've also worked with other partners, including AWS, Oracle, under the Chitume program.
Yes.
We want to enhance and accelerate the digital skilling program, so that we have more people exposed to the digital space. We want also to work with specialized companies to see that we increase the skill in the tech space, the software development, cyber security, so that our young people can address. So that's one part, digital skilling under the digital master plan. We are also looking at how to work towards digitizing government, so that once we build a more digital government, we can realize a digital ecosystem. We will see digitization in private sector, in SMEs. This will open more opportunities for our young people. I'm very happy when I see some Kenyan companies starting to employ young Kenyans and developing softwares being used not only locally, but to see them being exported to our neighboring countries and even beyond.
Yes.
So those are the initiatives we want to do under the digital, as indicated in the digital master plan, besides the connectivity and many other programs that will position our country to the next level.
Yes, it's interesting. A lot of the questions coming in right now, which unfortunately I can't ask because of time, are actually coming from the youth.
Yes.
And a lot of them have been mentioning Ajira, the Ajira program. But thank you so much, Engineer John Tanui, for joining us today. And he was talking about the Kenya's digital job agenda. And I would like to ask that you actually visit their website. Just go to icta.go.ke for those who have been asking questions, especially the youth, and find out the opportunities that are there for you.
Thank you.
Now, Lake Bogoria National Reserve in Kenya is not only famous, but a place a lot of you need to visit. That story is coming up shortly after the break.